This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
So, I'm back.
Yeah. This is the first time we've actually seen each other since you've been back.
Is that true?
I think so. When else would we have seen you?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't think we've even talked to each other.
Yeah, probably not.
I didn't even know you were gone, basically.
I was in Berlin these past 10 days or so, and it was fantastic. It's a great city. It's like going to New York or going to London. It's not really like going to a German city. You know what I mean? Because it's so cosmopolitan. There's no like, Glockenspiel. There's no Lederhosen. It's a big city.
You could get a good strudel though there.
Actually, I did not. You know what? I looked all over for German food.
Really?
Nowhere to be found.
Would you go to the Olive Garden?
Well,
Even the Olive Garden?
Even the Germans don't eat German food anymore
Because it sucks.
Well, maybe.
It's just not for. It's potatoes, basically.
I've been kind of a little fed up with the slams against Germans recently.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I was there.
Okay.
These
are you going to break into Deutschland über alles right now?
No, I think my people.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I was speaking German a lot. And nobody needs to hear German. Yeah, everyone speaks English in Berlin. But I kept doing it because I wanted to get my German back.
Hone your skills.
By the time I left, my conversations were in German. People were answering me in German. Everything was going great.
Okay.
I felt like, I'm back.
Yeah.
And then I read a text here from our buddy Brent, who says that there's a story in the news that the German trains are not running on time. That is not true. Let me tell you something.
That really got your glockenspiel, didn't it?
You go to the train station and it'll say,
"Hey, don't talk train stations with my people." Okay, you guys with train stations are just not a big fan of those. But anyways, go on.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. That makes sense. Okay. But if you walk into the train station, it'll say next train 1 minute or next train 6 minutes, and guess what happens in 1 minute or 6 minutes? The train shows up.
Because on time.
Because the trains are running on time.
So, did you do the Third Reich walking tour?
I did the Third Reich walking tour. Kind of a bummer. Did you know about this?
Well, you had sent me a picture of the Jewish synagogue.
Yeah.
We stayed right near there.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And are there still guards out in front?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was, so we did an informal Third Reich.
Okay.
Because we went with my mom who was like, this is where Elsa lived. She got taken away. This is where we went on the real Third Reich tour.
Yeah. It was
sobering.
It was sobering. They took us to where Hitler's bunker is, and it's just like a garden.
It's a Dunkin' Donuts right now, right?
Or it's like a tea shop. And right next to this tea shop, it's just a garden. I mean, they can't build on it because there's so much concrete underneath.
Because of the bunker.
Yeah, because the bunker was like 9 meters down, and but there's no markers there. The guy that took us on a tour, showed us where Hitler's body was found.
And it was a manhole cover.
It was like a manhole cover, just in the middle of the street.
Pothole.
Nothing there. I mean, in some ways, it's kind of fitting that it just ended that way. Yeah. But in other ways, you're like, they maybe should have some sort of historical significance in mind.
A souvenir shop.
I guess now that you mention it, how would you really do that?
I got the snow dome where Hitler's.
Fair enough. Good point. All right, it's time for Minutia Men.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
Hitler pothole cover or pothole or potholder. What are they called?
Potholders.
Okay. Potholder. The mitts. Hey, we got a big show today, and we better get cooking here.
Okay.
Because you're clearly, you've got something to do this afternoon, don't you?
Well, and I'll be doing it on time.
Okay.
Just like the trains.
Big soccer game. It's Netherlands versus
England.
Okay. Well, by the time it airs, we'll know who won, but who do you think is going to win? England?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Netherlands.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, we'll find out.
You're a big fan of Kevin Bacon, right?
Who isn't?
Right, exactly.
I actually have met him.
He seems like a nice guy.
So if you've met me...
Okay, hold that thought, because we're going to be doing a little Kevin Bacon thing. I actually just recently saw a YouTube video of him making gluten-free pancakes for his kids.
Really?
It was really nice. Oh. I mean, I don't know why I watched
like a
it.
Swell guy.
I don't know why I stumbled upon it, but I watched it. It was like 7 minutes. Well, it appears that KB wanted to find out what it was like to be a normal person. Okay. Because he has been a celebrity this vast majority of his life, right?
Right. I mean, he goes all the way back to Animal House. Remember? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah. Well, the Footloose star revealed in a recent interview with Vanity Fair that he sported an intricate disguise. He had put on fake teeth. He had, prosthetic nose, the whole deal. He hired a makeup artist, right? Evidently, Bernie Madoff didn't steal all his money. And he said because he wanted to, dress like a normal person, and he wanted to experience life as a normal person.
That's great.
Okay. The 65-year-old actor told the magazine that he wore his custom camouflage getup to the Grove, which is like a popular outdoor mall in L.A., and nobody saw him. Or no one recognized him. No one. He said he totally blended in. Nobody recognized me, he said, but living out his dream wasn't what he imagined. People were kind of pushing past me, not being very nice, he recalled. Nobody said, I love you or I love your movies. I had to wait in line to, I don't know, buy a fucking cup of coffee or whatever. So he realized that, there's some perks here for being a celebrity. Right? Here's a couple of things. I didn't know that if you're a celebrity, you don't have to wait in line for a cup of coffee.
Oh, you don't have to wait in line for anything.
So how do they...
You walk in, you're a celebrity. They go, "Oh, Mr. Bacon, what would you like?" And they'll just get
really
right
in
away.
front of everybody.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're kind of big deals. Right?
Well, yeah, but we're audio big deals, so nobody knows what we look like.
Well, I have a solution to that. From now on, when I go to Starbucks, my name is Dave, host of Minutia Men podcast, top 1% podcast in the world. I got a decaf lot. I got a decaf Americano.
Okay, try it.
So, and second, while I was doing my 7 hours of show prep, I stumbled upon a website called oracleofbacon.org. Okay. And this is somebody who created this website where, in fact, it's kind of a quiz. I'm going to have you want to put the quiz jingle? Is that handy?
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. It's right here.
Time now for a Minutia quiz.
All right, I want to see if you can stump the Oracle. Oracle of Bacon. What I want you to do is I want you to give me a name. So you're familiar with the 6 degrees of bacon, and everybody is. So, but for those of you who are not, you can link any actor to Kevin Bacon within 6 steps, basically. Well, I've been playing around with it. I can't get past 2 steps, meaning that he's linked to virtually everybody almost immediately. Yeah. So what I want you to do is I want you to give me an actor that you think is furthest removed from Kevin Bacon. And I think you can use any actor.
Okay.
I mean, I was using...
Living or dead?
Living or dead.
All right. Werner Klemperer.
Okay. So that's Werner, right?
Yeah.
Werner Klemperer. Okay. Guess how many links? How many steps?
4.
2. Werner Klemperer was in Wake Me When the War is Over with Alex Rodin, who was in JFK with Kevin Bacon.
Wow.
All right, give me another one.
Clark Gable.
I love how you went straight to Werner Klemperer.
I was in a German mode.
Okay.
Clark Gable.
Oh, I bet that is a 1 or a 2. Right? Clark Gable. 2. Clark Gable was in The Misfits with Eli Wallach, who was in Mystic River, who was in...
Wow.
Give me one more.
Okay.
Go...
Okay, how about... let's go young. How about Selena Gomez?
That's SEL.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, now maybe... See, that is actually clever. Selena Gomez was in Rudderless with Miles Heiser, who was in Rails and Ties with Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
So 2.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
What about a silent film star?
How about Gloria Swanson?
All right. Gloria. Ooh, she's not even coming up. Maybe. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we found
Gloria Swanson. Gloria Swanson was in Airport 1975 with Susan French, who was in Flatliners, who was in with Kevin Bacon. So it's 2. I have never gotten past 2.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
You know what, listeners? Try to stump the Oracle of Bacon.
Yeah, let us know when you come up with one. Please send that in to us via emailer. All right, I have a story for you. A drunken construction worker who had been reported missing spent hours with a search party looking for himself on Tuesday, according to reports. Relatives of Bayhan Mutlu, 50, reportedly became concerned when he didn't return home after a night drinking with his friends in Inigal, Turkey's Bursa province, the Times reported. His wife was unable to reach him on his cell phone. Officials were advised that his friends lost him after he wandered into the forest, the Turkish news outlet the Daily Sabah said. Well, in his wandering, he wandered into a search in progress, and he agreed to help. And during this hours-long search in the dark of the night, a potential rescuer shouted Mutlu's name. It was then he realized the search party was looking for him. Who are we looking for? Mutlu. I'm Mutlu. Oh, well, I guess we found you.
Mutlu.
So I thought that was a funny story because it reminded me of something that happened to me when I was a kid. I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and we had
in Germany.
No, here in America, and we had just moved out to Mount Prospect. But I was still kind of, dangling between German and English because I didn't learn English until I was 5 or 6, and my mom would, like this mothers do this in those days, go out and play.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I went out and played for a while, but I was kind of an introverted kid. Plus, I was having trouble making friends because I was a weirdo.
Well, and your gout and elephantitis. Right?
No, I didn't have that yet, believe it or not. But anyway, I went
with a disabled boy.
I played with the kids for a while, and then I came to my house, and I went in the side door, and I went downstairs, and I started watching TV. Gilligan's
what year?
Island.
I was going to say, what year?
Yeah. Like 1970, 71.
Dick Van Dyke, Andy Griffith?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that was the
Gilligan's
lineup.
Island?
Uh-huh.
Maybe an old Car 54, Where Are You?
I don't think we were at Car 54. Maybe a Brady Bunch or something like that. I don't know. Whatever was showing in those days. But so, my mom goes outside to find me and says, have you seen Ricky? Yeah, he was here. He just disappeared. Right. And my mom freaked out because in those days, there are all these stories about kids being abducted, handing out candy and all this stuff.
Well, the Democrats were drinking their blood, right?
Yeah, exactly. So she organized a search party throughout the neighborhood.
And knowing your mom, the search party had a really nice deli tray.
It probably did. Yes.
Please hunt for my son, but please enjoy.
You look hungry. Have some apples. But yes, so the whole neighborhood was looking for me for hours. And, I could sit in front of a TV for 20 hours.
Yeah.
No one thought of looking in the basement. No one saw me come in the door. No one had any idea was there.
You got a Donna Reed. And
right, exactly.
And a Bewitched. Forget
Floyd the barber is waxing philosophic right now. But anyway, this lasted until my dad came home from work. Yeah. And I walked into the room as my mom was explaining to my dad that there's a search party, Ricky is lost, and he goes, "You mean him?" And it was me standing there. So I'm kind of like Mutlu, except I wasn't drunk.
What worries me is in this kind of a situation, if, and I'm looking for me, people are starting to say, well, you know what? Is he really worth looking for?
Exactly.
Let's be honest. He tells the same jokes.
Right.
And, he's 60. He had a good run.
Yeah, if we lose him, we lose him.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So, hey, we got a reviewer.
Okay.
Blop 67.
Blop?
I don't know. Blop 67 on Apple says, love the banter and the quips.
Oh. Well,
short and sweet.
Nice.
Very good.
I hope he also likes Studio Walls.
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls.
So when you were in the basement watching Gilligan's Island, what were the snacks back then? 70s?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
Fritos? Were you guys?
No. What we were the off-brand people.
Okay.
Like if people were eating Oreos, we had those Hydrox.
Okay,
or
sure. Well, you were thrifty Germans.
We were thrifty Germans. Exactly.
Right. And we don't need Nabisco. Yeah, Hydrox, good. Nah, yeah. Right. Were you a soda pop family?
No.
Yeah, neither. No,
that was not
Who's
allowed.
got that kind of money for soda
Yeah,
pop?
exactly. All right, so we're going back in time now in Studio Walls to July 9th, 2005.
Oh.
And Studio Walls, by the way, is our audio library that we bring back for you.
Vault.
And back in 2005, there was a man named Adam Greenberg who played for the Cubs, came up that day. Now, we had him on the show. We talked to him about his baseball career. And I think I set the stage here nicely for exactly what his career was. And so I'm going to play that and his reaction. Here we go. Imagine, if you will, he's a 5th-round pick in 2002. He works his way up through the Cubs minor league system. Hard work, long bus rides, sweat on your brow, nights of wondering, is it worth it? And then one day, you get called into the manager's office, and he says, kid, you're going to the show. It's been 4 hard years of work and toil and sweat. Now you have your big chance. July 9th, 2005. The manager, Dusty Baker, with his toothpick in his mouth, looks down the dugout and says, Greenberg, you're batting for the pitcher. You hop up. You get your Wonder Bat. You run out to the batter's box. You dig in. You feel the red clay underneath your cleats. You smell the grass. The catcher says, welcome aboard, Rook. And the umpire says, play ball. You know that your family's out there supporting you. You hear the crowd. And then you don't hear them at all because you're in the zone. This is it. This is the beginning. The pitcher goes into the windup. You're thinking, bring it on. Then a 90-mile-an-hour fastball hits you right in the head. Career over. Does that pretty much sum up what happened on that day?
It sounds like the good opening to the movie. So
Yeah,
right, exactly.
I'm just gonna say you're hired.
Yeah, right.
I am available for voiceover.
Yeah, it was total. That was total Field of Dreams, Moonlight Graham. There wasn't it? Tug McGraw gets his bony finger.
But that was pretty much it, wasn't it? I mean, we were watching that day. And, you're the young rookie coming up from the minors. I think you came up the same day as Matt Merton. Wasn't that right?
Yep, same day.
And then boom, it's all over. And what was that like?
I mean, you kind of painted the picture, so I think everyone who heard what you said could imagine what it was like. It was everything you said. It was a dream come true. I'd worked my entire life. Overcame a lot of obstacles. I mean, you just think about the reality of how hard it is to get there. 8 million people try every year throughout the world in 750 spots. I'm 5'8 3/4 from Guilford, Connecticut. I mean, everything is going against you in a game built around failure to begin with.
Right.
So to be able to have the opportunity to get called up, I mean, obviously now I look back on it and I can acknowledge and accept how tough it really is. But it was just like the culmination of a life's worth of work. Yeah. And for one instant, 0.3 of a second, to have the first 1/10 of a second, and this is how when the ball left the pitcher's hand, I said, don't bail out because I don't want to look stupid bailing out and have it curve over for strike one.
Yeah, and right.
10-2 was, that's not breaking. And then it was get the heck out of the way. And that was, the ball caught me so perfect. It was up under the helmet, hit me square on the back of my head. And everything was just, I guess it was meant to be. But yeah, it was unfortunate because I so badly wanted to be a part of that team and that organization and being a part of the turnaround to win a World Series. But it wasn't my time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would be the most bitter. I would be carrying that in my soul, being just flipping off people in traffic, and
yeah, me too.
I would have just been
me too.
Our German would not let it.
But you got to give him credit. Yeah. He did have a great attitude,
and he embraced it. And he's a motivational speaker?
Yeah.
And didn't he also, I think you know that, he got another at bat?
He did, like 10 years later
with the Marlins
or something.
Or somebody, right?
For one at bat, he struck out, which wasn't as...
He got hit in the groin.
You should have just... The other part, if you want to listen to it, by the way, that's Minutia Man Celebrity Interview number 63. And he also tells a story of meeting that same pitcher in the minors later, a few years later, and that's a great story too. But you have to listen to it.
That's a teaser.
It is a teaser.
Hey, I got another story here. We just had 4th of July. Were you in town for 4th of July?
Yes, we
you
did.
were.
That was when we came back.
I'm not a big fan, although you can argue this. I'm not a big fan of making fun of people who die. Okay.
Really?
Well, okay. Again, I knew that there was going to be some pushback.
Yeah.
It's not great. I mean, it's not great karma, but every once in a while, we stumble upon a story where we would be irresponsible journalists if we did not report it, right?
Right, exactly.
Right. And to be fair, we really only make fun of people who die by doing something pretty stupid.
Right.
Okay.
Which goes back to my biggest
embarrassing
fear.
death.
Embarrassing
right.
death, yes.
I think this Rhode Island man may have this could be a bar that is going to forever be never eclipsed. Rhode Island man died after firework set off on his head. Okay. It gets better.
Okay.
A 39-year-old man was killed on May 12th. Actually, this is even before July 4th, when a mortar-style firework was placed on his head and set off, according to police in Westerly, Rhode Island. A recent autopsy report of David Ziegenfuss, German.
Okay, German.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
German. Okay. Lists the cause of death as a blast injury to the head and the manner of the death as accidental. Here's what happened. According to anonymous sources who were with Mr. Ziegenfuss at the time of the incident, a friend is quoted as saying that Dave was pretty wasted.
Okay.
When he put a 1.3 mg on his head.
At least he put it on his own head.
Right,
Okay.
right. It wasn't,
It wasn't like a wacky stunt gone bad.
No, but there's a wacky stunt part of this. So Dave was pretty wasted when he put a 1.3 mg on his head. By the way, I had to look up what mg stood for.
Yeah.
That's a military grade.
Right.
Okay. And I also think we're getting kind of an idea of who Dave was with when somebody goes, "Oh, that's a 1.3 mg,"
good
right?
point.
So he's got there's some enablers here. Okay. He started to dance like those Russian folk dancers who balance wine bottles on their heads.
Okay.
Okay. So it sounds like he was reenacting like that scene from Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right.
With a mortar on his head, right?
Wow.
The source went on to say, I think Dave forgot that he had lit it. And unfortunately, it went off. Now, I think what happened is he, is really wasted, lights it, starts doing the dance, and was only going to do it for a second or so. But everybody was really getting into the dance. He was doing the folded arms and and everybody was just really, really getting into it. And he was just simply in the moment.
Yeah.
He's an artist in the moment, right?
Exactly.
Well, sadly, David Fuss is no more. The thing went out and his head pretty much blew off. His wife, also name withheld, said that while she is heartbroken, she finds comfort that Dave died doing what he loved. What is it? Is it the
it's the dancing?
Is it the dancing or is it the mortar?
Explosions?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe those were his two hobbies: explosions and dancing.
Yeah, did he love culturally appropriating Eastern European dances? I don't know.
You said Ziegenfuss. Is it spelled E-I or I-E?
Ziegenfuss.
Oh, okay, too bad. Because if it was E-I, Ziegenfuss, that means look at my foot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Ziegenfuss. Okay. Look at my foot. No, look at my head. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Rather look at my foot.
Well, speaking of death, all right, I found this website called Vast Public Indifference, and I was fascinated by this. I don't know why exactly, but they have a series called 101 Ways to Say Died, all right? They are compiling epitaphs from gravestones, but not just any gravestones. They're looking at gravestones from America that are pre-1825.
Okay.
All right, so obviously all East Coast, but they're all, they're much more literary than we are today. For instance, well, actually not all of them. All right, so I'll give you a couple of them that we can't use anymore these days. For instance, was shot by a Negro soldier. Was found lashed to the mast of his sunken and ill-fated vessel, was barbarously murdered in his own home by Gage's bloody troops.
Okay, that's what I want. That's what I want on my gravestone.
What about inhumanely murdered by cruel savages? All right, so we can't use those. But I thought, back in those days, they were much more literary. For instance, entered upon an eternal Sabbath of rest.
Oh.
Departed this transitory life, departed this stage of existence, went rejoicing out of this world, changed
Just like Ziegenfuss.
changed a fleeting world for an immortal rest,
Oh.
rose upon the horizon of perfect endless day, entered the regions of immortal felicity,
Oh.
died triumphantly in hopes of a joyful resurrection, and bid adieu to earthly scenes.
Wow, yeah.
Those are nice. Now, we don't really get quite as
Flowery.
Yeah. I just looked up in 2019, this place called Marie Curie did a poll of other words used to describe death. Modern day.
Okay.
All right. These are not quite as lyrical, but some of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
For instance, wearing a wooden onesie, not bad. Turned turtle.
Turned turtle.
Vacated their earthly meat prison, walked over the Rainbow Bridge, pulled his last pint, ate the pomegranate, hamburger time, doing the final moonwalk, and shit the cosmic bed. Not quite as lyrical as they used to be, but I think, better than just saying died, right?
Well, hopefully this is not a decision that needs to be made anytime soon, but I mean, I assume me and Michelle will be buried together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they do that, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And mine is going to be on with Stupid.
Okay, time for another feature.
A random name pulled out of Rurik's bowl of brushes with celebrities. Mixture, collection, selection, assemblage, medley, assortment, variety. Time now for Celebrity Potpourri with Rick and
I'm going
Dave.
to do the little finger point to her grave.
That's nice.
Just in case.
That's a good one.
Case, yeah.
This email comes to us from Marianne. All right, Marianne.
Getting a lot of ladies.
I
lately.
know. The ladies love us. You know they do.
From afar.
Yeah, you're right. They've never met us. Marianne, I've never heard you guys or any of your listeners mention the times you met someone famous through your kids.
Huh?
My kids went to Marquette. One of them graduated last year. I went up to visit both of them a couple of years ago for Parents' Weekend, and we went out for a few drinks. One of my son's friends joined us. His name was Brandon. Nice kid. Nice parents. His dad is named Kevin. His mom is Marlee Matlin, the Academy Award-winning actress.
Really? So that's
That's the whole story.
she,
but yeah.
the deaf mute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell of a career.
Yeah, very
She's
impressive.
really, really smart too. Isn't she
I
like
think
a
so, yes.
PhD in something or another?
Right. He's even smarter than us, which is,
But you know
science.
who? But not smarter than
Who?
Is Dave Ziegenfuss.
That's. I think she's definitely smarter than him. All right, so we have people to thank. We gave a nice vacation to everybody that we need to thank. I
Yeah.
hope they enjoyed their time off.
Well, they should be thanking us.
Oh, exactly,
Right.
exactly. But we should be thanking Tony Lasano, executive producer with Opie Productions. We also need to thank Ed Silla from Radio Misfits, who is the distributor of the program. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It's just moved to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. And we'll be back again. But you want to come back next week?
We'll see.
Well, we'll come back next week for another episode of
Minutia Man.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at RadioMisfits.com. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?
He's 60. He had a good run,